Hey guys, it's Gail
Got it.
Thompson with Everything Nash here with the fabulous Walker Hayes, and I'm so
Oh,
excited to be talking to you. Oh my gosh, how are you, Walker?
I'm so good. Thanks for calling me fabulous. I don't know about that, but I'm so
Fabulous.
glad to see you. So good to be with you again.
Next time, can we do this in person though?
Let's do it. I'm in 100%.
Okay, I don't want to take up your whole afternoon. I mean, kind of
No,
do, but
please take your time.
Country Stuff, the album, friend. Walker, I have had it on repeat, and I'm not even lying.
Have you?
Yeah, it's
I
awesome.
love it.
So talk me through the process of when you were like, I'm going to make this into this ginormous album.
Before Fancy Like, before we'd even written Fancy Like, I was talking to my team about how much I loved getting back to the writer me over COVID, because that's all I could do. And what I noticed, and my team noticed, is they just started listening to my songs again like a writer, and it was different every day. And they never knew what to expect, but they enjoyed the left turns, that my music took. And honestly, a lot of the stuff I wrote was faith based. It was about my relationship with Christ. And then I would turn in drinking songs, and they'd be like, whoa, this is so different from yesterday. And then the next day would be completely different. And as I talked to my team, I said, you guys have an advantage over the world. You get to hear all sides of me and appreciate it all. Whereas, most of the time as an artist, you're trying to find the most mainstream part of you and give the world that. And I said, and my team said, we kind of said at the same time, why don't we just give the world which is you don't know what you're going to get on a daily basis. And that's hard. It can be sometimes confusing on an album, but that's when we decided to just start picking our favorite songs, not necessarily the songs that went with each other, but just our favorite songs. And that was the beginning of Country Stuff.
Well, I think you're probably the only artist in history who is sober and has a song called Drinking Songs, followed by a song called AA on it.
I know. And we talked about that. A lot of my team said, hey, is this going to be a mixed message, with who you are? And I said, I'm a great drinker. I'm the best drinking songwriter ever. I mean, I'm a pro at drinking, that's why I don't drink. And, so yeah, we just told the truth. And it's hilarious. It's like, there's drunk me, there's AA me, there's Jesus me, there's DeLorean me. It's just so cyclical. The album is, and I think that's who we are as people. You don't quit drinking and not think about drinking anymore. You think about it for the rest of your life and wish you could do it responsibly, but,
Do you still wish?
Do I what?
Do you still wish that you could drink responsibly? Is that still kind of a thorn in your flesh?
I think, I often think about it. I often wonder, like, in heaven, is the beer like really good? And if you drink it, are you satisfied with just one because you don't need to be drunk? Like there's nothing to cope with, But I don't know. There's I have a song on one of my 8 tracks called "Wish I Could Drink," and it's one day my kids are going to turn 21, and I can't have a beer with them, and I don't know. Will it kind of hurt when I watch them, and think, man, I hope you don't have that me in you, But yeah, I think about that all the time. I mean, I wish I could do anything responsibly. I'm really such an addictive personality. I think part of that is why I was still here in Nashville for this to even happen, is I couldn't put the guitar down,
Interesting way to look at it. Okay, and you also, AA, you wrote that, am I right, with Shane and Luke, right? Do I have my
Yeah.
And they're both sober also. What a great song, by the way. That's such like I don't go to AA, but that's such a great song.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it was funny. Three recovering alcoholics, writing the truth, just saying, I'm just trying to do these things in life that I fail at all the time. And, but I'm trying, and that's what I'm up to, and, that's how that song came about. I walked in the room and Fancy Like was just on a rocket, and Luke just laughingly said, "Man, how are you? What are you doing? How's it going?" And I said, "Man, I'm just trying to stay out of AA." And he said, "Let's go. You write that down, and that was the conception of AA.
Okay, let's talk about your collaborations. I love Mercy Me. Oh, I think he's such a great singer. So I want to talk about that song specifically, but you have Jake Owen, Carly Pierce, and Lauren McKenna on this. I mean, Walker, could you aim any higher?
Yeah, I know. And, honestly, what's crazy is that all of those, every single one of those artists, they collabed with me before Fancy Like even happened, so they're genuine. I didn't really have much to offer them except, the spot on my projects or whatever, but all beautiful people, very diverse group of folks. Jake and I are good buddies. Lori, I wrote Briefcase with her, so it made sense. Carly, I'm just a fan of her voice, and we have mutual friends in Shane. And then, man, Bart, he heard the first version of Craig, and he said, "Man, not enough people have heard this." And I was like, "Man, thank you. That's a compliment." And then I said, "Well, why don't we redo it? And you can sing the chorus." And oh my goodness, it's just a completely new experience.
He's phenomenal. I read this recently, and this so fascinated me. You said when you wrote Craig, you weren't ready to talk about Jesus in the song yet.
I didn't believe in Jesus when I wrote Craig.
But it's such a Jesus story.
Well, I thought I was super clever. I didn't put Jesus's name, in the song because, look, I respected Craig, and his love for us was otherworldly and unconditional beyond any love we had ever received from humans. And it made me curious, like the song says. I was like, man, I don't know, maybe he does know Jesus, and then I met the Lord, I met Jesus myself. And now I see, that was the light of Christ shining through Craig. And I think that song deserved a remake. And now it's Believer Walker, singing it. And it's different. It's celebratory. And I can't wait for the world to hear it. We actually wrote a book together called Glad You're Here, me and Craig, that comes out in May. And it's just about my testimony and our relationship.
I'm going to be buying that book, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a free copy.
Okay. What made you want to share your story? Because it's a very vulnerable thing, and you've been through some stuff. Let's be honest.
I mean, honestly, I don't care about sharing anything else. I mean, to be quite frank with you, I don't think there's anything else worth sharing, than what Jesus has done with me and the redemption I've experienced here on earth and will continue to experience from knowing him. And that's it. That's why I want to share my story. It's my hope that people will hear the new version of Craig and people will read the book Glad You're Here, and they'll be like me. About 2.5 years ago, I snuck into Barnes and Noble and I bought a Bible, and I was embarrassed and I was proud, and I hid it in a bag for about a week or two. I didn't, you know, my wife was a believer, and I didn't want to admit, you know, that I was curious, and that I was weak, and that I might believe. And then it all came out, you know, and my kids were blown away. They were like, "What?" Yeah, you know, that's my hope, is that, and even if they don't read the book or listen to Craig, I mean, I hope people hear Fancy Like, and they go, "What does that dude have? I want some of whatever that is," you know, and hopefully they recognize it's Jesus.
I'm going to get to Fancy Like, but I have to tell you this first. I don't know if your team told you. One of my top 10 stories in 2020 was our interview when you said, "We need the hope of a savior." That was what I called it. Well, one of my top 10 stories of 2021 was that same story from a year and a half ago. So it's resonating with people. And that, I mean, I don't know how many bazillion views it's gotten, but it's you. It was right when the pandemic started, and you were saying, "We need the hope of a savior, man."
I love that. That's awesome. Now I got to go watch it.
It wasn't on video. I wish it was. We just watched. Do you remember when you realized Fancy Like is not only a hit, but it's going to change my family's life completely? Do you remember when you had that moment?
Yeah, I think so. I was coming home, and it was there was a massive song on pop radio called "Astronaut in the Ocean," and it was you know, "What You Know About Roland." Anyway, it was like everywhere, and my kids jokingly, you know, they were like, "Dad," they were like, "It's my Fancy Like's big," but they were like, "It ain't gonna pass that song," and it did. During the day, I remember my management calling me and being like, "Dude, your song is like #1 all genre by far. Like the next thing is this many streams down, or many sales down." And at that moment, I was like, wow, you know, I was just like, this is a world thing now. You know, it's not a genre thing. It's just a everything thing, you know? And I think it was at that moment that I began to try to process what's going on. I can't say that we have fully absorbed, you know, how this will affect our lives. You know, it's still very young. I mean, this song just came out in July, so, you know, it's not a year old. And so, yeah, I think every day we're getting little bits of pieces of, this is what life looks like now, especially career-wise, for me. But in the same sense, it doesn't really change life at home. You know, I mean, we're the same folks. You know, we still eat at Applebee's. We eat there more often, actually.
You can afford it now.
Yeah, I was about to say, now it's not so fancy.
All right, last question. I'm gonna let you go. This is how we ended last time. What's your message to people? The world is still weird. The world is still scary. Things are changing all the time. What's your message, Walker?
Oh, you know, things are changing all the time, and so are we. And you know, I need mercy. We all need a lot of mercy, and we need to give a lot of mercy. And yeah, I mean, my only hope is Jesus. I mean, that's my message, and I think he's everybody's. And you know, I don't know. Life, to me, there's a freeing thought that just life is not the end all be all. You know, it's beautiful, but it's going to let us down, you know, continually until it's over, you know. And there's beautiful, beautiful things to behold in it and about it, but it's not, life isn't the answer, you know, and but Jesus is. So yeah, that's my message.
Awesome. So good to see you, my friend.
Hey, thank you. Good talking to you.
For more exclusive interviews, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.